Welcome back, warriors, to yet another video. For those of you that haven't been on my channel, my name is Jess and I'm the creator of Tired Girls Club. Please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell so that you get all the latest videos straight to your inbox. So I have wanted to try one of the menstrual cups for so long now, and I'm just really glad that I finally decided to bite the bullet and purchase one. I decided to go for the Moon Cup as opposed to the Diva Cup or any of the others that are on the market. And really the reason for that was it was just the one that I'd heard the most about. For those of you that don't know what a Moon Cup is, they've been around for quite a long time, but they are definitely on the upsurge as we become more environmentally aware and what our contribution towards the waste problem actually is. The Moon Cup is an alternative to tampons and pads. I've been an avid tampon user now for probably about 15 years. And according to the Moon Cup website, women in general use around 11,000 tampons in their entire lifetime, which is huge. There are a ton of demonstration videos out there on the internet to show you how to properly use a Moon Cup and how to insert them, but I'm going to give you a couple of tips just from my experience in my first week of using my Moon Cup. Menstrual cups are more hygienic than your typical sanitary products. There's no nasty ingredients or toxic chemicals. And although the initial spend is roughly £20, if you look after your menstrual cup, they can last anywhere between 10 and 20 years, which is a massive saving on buying tampons or pads monthly. The Moon Cup cost me £19.99. I do believe you can get cheap versions anywhere on the internet. Personally, I preferred to go with a brand that has a good reputation. That's Siri.
I'm here.
No, I'm not asking for you. What is going on? Kind of like a tampon, it sits just inside the vagina. However, the Moon Cup sits much lower than you would typically be used to. Unlike sanitary pads and tampons, it doesn't soak anything up. It actually collects it inside the cup and then you can dispose of it afterwards. Obviously, my first thought was it was going to be really, really messy. It was going to get stuck. That was one of the other things that I was really worried about. So I did a lot of this, Googling and YouTubing other people that have been using them. I've been interested in reducing my amount of waste for quite a while. So that was definitely one of the reasons that I decided to give the Moon Cup a try. As I said before, they can have a 10 to 20 year lifespan, and there are all sorts of cleaners that you can purchase from the website. However, I didn't really like the idea of using products to clean it when you can just boil with really, really hot water for about 20 minutes and that will do the job. So that's exactly what I do to clean mine. I've been using boiling water. My first day of actually using it was, I think I had beginner's luck because it was so easy. I couldn't believe how easy it actually was. I was definitely led into a false sense of security. There are a few ways that you can actually insert the cup, and the Moon Cup website gives you different tips. I chose to use the C shape to start with, which is where you fold it in half and then you fold it again into like a C shape. Now this worked absolutely fine for me the first time that I did it. The stem was sticking out somewhat, but it does say in the instructions that for the first few uses, you should try and work out whereabouts on the stem you actually sit and then cut it accordingly. The first few hours, there was just stem wiggling around a little bit on the outside, which was a little bit uncomfortable. But as I went through the first few hours, it did start to settle in and it kind of just disappeared, which now I understand are kind of like shot upwards and sat further up. Not a lot really happened the first day of my period. I had a slight little bit of leakage. That would just be because I didn't get a great seal around the outside. I have since learned that you should really try and make sure that you've got a seal when it's in there, and that could be done by popping the finger in and just checking around the edge of it. First day, I was like, this is a piece of cake. This is so easy, no issues, no problems. Pop it in a C, stick it in. I don't know what anyone's moaning about. Then it came to taking it out. Obviously done all my reading, and everybody says make sure you pinch the bottom, don't just pull it out because it creates a vacuum. So if you just go to pull it, like it won't come out like that without causing some sort of discomfort. So thinking I was well educated, I was trying to pinch the bottom and I was like, I can't find it. So the panic set in. I was like, oh my God, it's disappeared. It's disappeared inside and I'm not gonna be able to find it. And I got myself in such a flap. After I'd calmed down, I managed to get the mooncup out, and then it came to actually getting it back in, which is when the issues actually started. So I went back to the trusty C shape that I used the first time. That's when it became apparent that it was a little bit more tricky than I realised. On the mooncup website, it gives you all sorts of tips and ways that you can use to get it in. So I did start trying to use one of the alternative methods, which is the punch down method. And that's where you pop one side of it down and it leaves like a little lip on one side, and you can kind of get it in that way. Even with punching it down, I could not get it back in. I could feel myself almost clamping and getting myself all stressed about it, which I knew was like the complete opposite of what I needed to be doing. I tried re-wetting it just to see if that would help. Another thing that I actually hadn't seen mentioned in the videos that I decided to watch in the lead up to me using it was my fingernails. Like, they have grown quite a bit. I don't know if you can see those, and it was like clawing at it, which made things even worse because I think that caused a little bit of swelling, which is probably why I could not get it back in. Word of warning, ladies, if you do have fingernails, just be like extra careful. By the end of that day, I just decided I'm gonna wear a tampon, I'm gonna just do what I normally do and come back to it tomorrow. Day 2, day 3 come around and I'm starting to get a little bit more used to it. I must admit that I much preferred the punch down method, so that's that one where you get like a little lip there rather than the C shape. My general opinion on the mooncup is that it's a fantastic device. It is tricky to start with, it is a bit of a learning curve. Couple of tips for you as a first time menstrual cup user: make sure that you have enough time to practice using it. Don't do it when you're out in public and you're rushing to get back to work. Do it in the comfort of your own home so you have the time to practice getting things right. In the initial stages, take a couple of pads with you or whatever it is you normally use, just in case you get leakage. If you are planning on using your mooncup while you're at work or in public bathrooms, then it's a good idea to have maybe a mini bottle of water in one of your handbags so that you can give it a little rinse out in the toilet cubicle before you pop it back in. Another tip is to just be careful of those talons and make sure that you are checking for the seal once you've got it in place. Give it a pinch on the bottom to release it. Don't try and drag it out without pinching. Make sure that it's really wet so it gives you some sort of lubrication. Remember, practice makes perfect. It's definitely worth giving it a go. If you can only imagine the amount of waste that we would all save if everybody started switching to one of these. I am a definite fan of using the menstrual cup and I plan on sticking with it for my next couple of cycles. I will let you know how I get on. Please join me over on Instagram and I will update you with my progress. If there is anything that I've missed within this video, please leave me a comment below. I would love to open the discussion about menstrual cups and let me know your experience with them. Until next time.